We don't get to talk about VR very often, but we love it when we can, and we love graphics, so we figured it was a good time to feature 15 VR games with some of the most insane graphics. Let's just get started with number 15 and talk about Vader Immortal. It's by far not the best looking game on this list, but it has a few key things. First, it's one of the better looking games on the Quest, the wireless Oculus device. The quality and detail they cram on the headset for this game in particular is just incredibly impressive. But also now that it's on the standard Rift platform, you can really see the graphical effort even more. But the big thing I want to point out with this game is just Darth Vader himself. When he walks up to you and he stares you down, you can really tell they put all of the budget into him. He looks incredible, and the sense of presence he gives off when he's standing in front of you is nothing short of amazing. You really feel like it's him, so we're giving the game big points for that. But moving on to number 14, let's talk about Red Matter VR. Red Matter VR is awesome. There are a few VR games on this list that are like this, but I think few look as cool. The concept is you're exploring a space station lab on a moon of Saturn to investigate shady secret research projects. It's like an alternate universe sci-fi Cold War dystopia and something went wrong, so it's up to you to figure it out. It's atmospheric, but it's also strikingly detailed, even more than you'd expect, and some of the weird evil red visual effects they use in-game are a sight to behold. Really, check it out. But next at number 13, Zero Caliber VR. This game is impressive in a different sense. I mean, it looks pretty decent, but it's all how it comes together as a first-person shooter. You have full movement around the environment and can take cover at will. It's all freedom. You have big guns that you can realistically hold and interact with different parts of it, and there's just lots of explosions, and the game doesn't really take a hit. Up close, some things can look kind of crappy, but when it's all in motion, the ambition of the game itself makes it really visually impressive. It feels like you're dropped into a real first-person shooter like Call of Duty or something, if that makes sense. You shoot things and it looks cool, that's what I'm trying to say. And next up at number 12, we have Arizona Sunshine, a game that you might think at first is just another throwaway zombie shooter game like you see on every other app store, but this one actually looks damn good once you get into it. The use of lighting and just the outdoor environments and just the art style of sort of being kind of artsy but sort of realistic make this thing quite a looker and more than you'd expect, especially if you're running on a decent machine. Aside from just the bright color and the lighting and stuff, the explosion effects and some of that stuff is really impressive. This game isn't like the absolute masterpiece or anything, but it is absolutely solid and consistent and just fun to look at, so that's why we considered it. Plus, honestly, it's just fun as hell. Shooting zombies is always cool, and Arizona Sunshine is of the higher quality, so check it out. But moving over to number 11, something I really want to talk about is the Gallery Heart of the Emberstone. This is actually the follow-up to the Gallery Call of the Starseed, which was a big hit for a lot of Vive players back in the day when it first launched. It's a really cool puzzle mystery adventure game which already looked damn good, and the developers Cloudhead Games really stepped it up with Emberstone. Just look at it. Now that in the game's story, you're entering a new ancient hidden world. Everything is just bigger and more fantastical in the game, so the art design and the graphical engine really keep up and make up for this. It really looks better than ever. Visually and gameplay-wise, it's a massive improvement over Call of the Starseed, and I would highly recommend it. But next at number 10, Singularity 5. It's this awesome wave shooter that I'm really hyped to talk about. It looks incredible and has a great sense of style. The art direction is like a crazy high-concept sci-fi, kind of artsy-fartsy vibe that they completely nailed from the vision to the actual execution in the game. Not only is it stylish though, but the on-screen menus and the fonts and everything, like little things, are really cool too. It's just, like I said, sometimes with stuff it's just really the little details, and when people really pay attention to every single individual element in a game they're making, I just really appreciate. There are a few other games like this on this list in terms of just like wave shooter type thing, but it's still worth pointing out just because its art style is so different and eclectic. Now at number 9, Project Cars 2 VR. I still really firmly, strongly believe that racing games are the perfect style of game to really get people into VR and just show them what it can do. And right now, really the best showcase of that is Project Cars 2. Now, straight up, it's not my favorite racing game by any means, but the VR component is just extremely well done, and the fidelity is perfectly translated to the VR options in the best ways. You really feel like you're in the car, and there's still a surprising amount of detail on everything. Kick-ass graphics are needed to be able to properly convey a good sense of speed, and if that's not done right, the fun factor can drop instantly. Thankfully though, Project Cars 2 succeeds and then some, like from that to detail to just everything. You want to blow somebody's mind? Put a VR headset on them and put them in a racing game. And like I said earlier, Project Cars 2 is the one to do it with. At number 8, Primordian. This is a weird, otherworldly first-person shooter with a single-player adventure and an arcade mode, and despite there being so many other VR shooters, this one just feels super unique, and it looks great. I think primarily it's because of the scope of this dense-looking world, as well as definitely these weapon visuals. The guns or weird, gross weapons you use are hyper-detailed and cool, and the game makes really fun use of glowing colors and bright neons to just great effect. It was made by like 2 dudes. It's really amazing that it looks this good, but we gotta give them props. Next at number 7, let's talk about Hellblade. We love Hellblade here at gameranx, and it also got a VR mode. It's just a damn good-looking game. It was a good-looking game then, and putting it in VR was a weird choice, but it totally works. The way it's set up, essentially most of the time, you're acting as the camera. The game is still, in third-person perspective, only the camera has some slight movement and freedom with your head and motion and stuff. There are other games that do it like this, but I think Hellblade is just one of the best-looking ones. There is a loss in graphical fidelity in some spots, as there always is with VR, but experiencing this game in front of your damn face is still really cool, and the characters and the creepy environments still look great and absolutely emulate the feel of playing it the traditional way. Honestly, however you play it, maybe you're watching this, you don't even have a VR headset, I'll say it again, play Hellblade because it's a really cool single-player adventure. Anyway, let's move on. Next at number 6, In Death. People describe this game, In Death, kind of like as a Dark Souls VR game, and yeah, that works. It has a lot of like great bow and arrow gameplay, and it's a roguelite, so it has a satisfying challenge loop. But gameplay aside, it looks really good. It's been hailed as one of the best looking VR games, and I really gotta, in particular, point out how cool the enemies look, and especially the way they move and animate here. This is one that you just really kind of need to see to believe in motion. Like, it's gotta be on your face. As generic as that sounds, I really think it's true. Some of the games on this list is better off you actually seeing them in person than a YouTube video with awful compression and 1080p showing it. But getting down to the final 5, let's talk about Batman Arkham VR. This is honestly like a relatively simple Batman experience, but it's just really freaking cool and immersive, and it looks so damn good. What started out as a PSVR exclusive has been ported over, and it's just really goddamn awesome. It looks good on every platform because it preserves the look of the Rocksteady Batman Arkham games, from style to all that gritty detail, and it puts you in Batman's shoes, literally. It has the depth and scale of Gotham rooftops where you can look down to the busy streets below, but also all of Batman's gadgets and his cool gloves are recreated with a bunch of really fun detail. This game is really more of an experience, a museum type thing, but it's really awesome and impressively running in real time. I played this one like well over a year ago at least, and I still can't stop thinking about how good it looks. But moving on to number 4, just a quick one, Lone Echo. Lone Echo is awesome. The movement in zero gravity, the puzzles, seriously, I can't say enough good things about this one. But it also looks awesome. Despite the simple premise of a space station floating through empty, endless space, it's the detail in the environments, the lighting, and really the character models you get up close and personal with that's really impressive. This one might make you queasy, but the floating around in space is so much fun, and I'd really recommend it, especially because it's practically a graphical powerhouse, dude. But next up, something I'm really excited to talk about at number 3 is Resident Evil 7. It's one of the more impressive AAA VR outings. Capcom definitely gambled on this one and spent probably a ton of money because the entirety of Resident Evil 7 can just be played in VR. First of all, this makes it incredibly scary. The atmosphere and the graphics are preserved enough in VR to make certain sequences of the game still feel genuinely spooky. Also, the detail of the character models is still insanely impressive. Those Bakers are messed up, I don't know. But really, this is truly a VR game on a massive budget, and if you can experience it, you should, because they gave it their all as long as you have the stomach for it. It sucks that it's still just a PSVR exclusive, but still, it looks damn good. Now, down at number 2, let's talk about less of an official one. It's Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation is a crazy looker. I mean, Creative Assembly put a ton of time into the visuals here, and just support in general with the game. The dark hallways, atmospheric lighting, emergency lights, the faithful level design that just really recreates the feel of the original Alien. It's a no-brainer for looking good when it's also strapped to your face in VR. This has to be accessed with mods though. There were like files in the game for VR support groundwork, but it never came through as official DLC or an update, like Sega didn't support it or anything. But it's worth tweaking fairly easily and checking out. It's very scary and very moody, and I think more than anything, Alien fans need to get themselves in this. But finally, at number 1, we want to talk about Robo Recall. Where to start on this one? Robo Recall kind of acts as like a nice graphical showcase for Unreal Engine VR stuff, but thankfully, it's also fun as hell. But also, more importantly on this list, it's an absolute looker. It's got a little bit of everything, semi-explorable environments with impressively detailed city streets and tall skyscrapers where the scale actually feels properly massive. Up close and personal, you have these highly detailed robot character models that really get in your face and look pretty amazing. They can be blasted with bullets and damaged, and you can also grab them and slowly rip them apart with your hands before your very eyes. And see all that stuff happening in motion in real time is so cool. Everything is shiny, glossy, detailed, and sharp. It's highly stylized while also just making you feel like you're really there. Robo Recall is something really special. Everybody's gonna have different opinions on like what the best looking VR games are. Like there are more than we can even include on this list, and everybody has a different type of preference for graphical style and art style. But these games look really amazing, and we just wanted to highlight them. But of course, for VR enthusiasts, down in the comments, we want to hear what you guys are up to. What are you playing? What do you think looks the best? What are you really in love with? What's whisking you away? If you learned about a new game or something like that from us, clicking the like button is the best way you can show appreciation and help us out. We would love that. But if you're new, consider subscribing and hitting that notification button because we put out videos every single day. But hey, as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.